Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is going to be part 35th of our Snowflake Zero to Hero series. In this video, we will be understanding one of the key concepts of data warehousing, slowly changing dimensions. And more specifically, how we are going to implement SCD Type 1 and Type 2 in Snowflake. We will be performing this exercise using task and the streams, which we have already covered in our previous videos. So before we jump directly onto the hands-on exercise, let's quickly understand what SCDs are and why they are so important into the data world. I'm sure you must be aware of the dimensions, facts, and all these data warehousing key topics. And some of you would be aware of the SCD Type 1, Type 2, Type 0, and Type 3 also. But just for a quick demo for this particular video so that you will be having a clear understanding that why we are doing it and what are we going to do in this next couple of minutes. So in a data warehouse, dimensions are basically represent the descriptive attributes, which can be customer, product, employee, date, and etc. So these does not change like a transactional data. These are basically but they can be some dimensions which can change over the period of time or which they can evolve slowly over the time. And that's where SCD comes into the picture. So these SCD help us to track these changes so analysts or business users can perform some historical analysis and understand the data trends over the period of time. So the big question is, how do you want to handle these changes in your data warehouse? You must be knowing about your data domain. You must be aware of your data. So do you want to keep the full historical record? Or you say, no, I do not want it to keep any change. This should be my fixed attribute or fixed time. This is not going to be changed over the period of time. Or you wanted to keep a historical, or like you just wanted to override the old value and no historical information. So we will be understanding what are the kind of attributes we do have and how does it matter in our data warehouse. So we will be declaring whether it is going to be type 0, type 1 and type 2 or so. We do have type 0, type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, type 6 of the SCDs, but in this video, we will be majorly focusing on type 1 and type 2. This type 2 is most commonly used SCD types. So the first one is SCD type 0, which is fixed. That means no change. So the dimension attributes which never change, or if it is even going to change, we are not going to worry about that. Just kind of like, let's say this customer date of birth. Okay. Second is SCD type 1, which is override. That means we are not going to worry about what is my previous value, what is my historical data. All I care about the current record or the current value. That is the type 1. That means I'm going to simply override the previous value without any historical information. Then, what it can be, let's say the phone number or the email address, the customer email address. I do not want their previous one. I'm going to take care of this, recent phone number or recent email address for the better communication. And now what can be the type 2? The address. I want a complete historical information. So along with the current record, I also need to know what is the previous or what is the historical data associated with that particular customer. So in type 2, we're going to have one extra record, or we can say like whatever the new records are coming or the updated data is coming, if for every that particular information, we're going to have a separate records. And in SCD type 2, we also keep some extra column like start date, end date, or some can say effective date. Okay. And then the last will be the is active flag, or you can say the change flag. This is again totally depend on how you wanted to name those columns. So the start date or effective date is like from the which date that the record is inserted, and the end date by when this record will be valid, and is active will be true or false or 0 or 1, which is going to tell you whether it is a current record or a historical record. So let's see that in our Snowflake. So I'm coming here and understand I do have this employee sample data table. In this employee sample data table, I do have 97 records. So I do have this EMP ID, name, email, phone number, address, company name, and experience. And I will be updating this address. So here I'm going to only and only going to take care about the SCD type 2, which is address. Okay, so the first thing first, I have this CSV, or maybe I do have this table in my Snowflake. So how, like not Snowflake, basically in some RDBMS. So how will I ingest this data into the Snowflake? So we're gonna break it into the multiple step. The first step will be that just assume that client is going to share the file in the S3 or in ADLS. So I have to load this raw file every day into my first layer, into the raw layer. The second, I will be creating a data SCD type 1, which is going to have all the data, means that is going to append it and also going to overwrite if there is any change. It's kind of absurd. And in the next, we will be creating one table which is going to track all the changes made on the type 1 table, and then will be updating into the type 2. We'll be inserting and will be adding another record. Also, it will be updating the is active and like all the end date and start date records. So for that, I have already written this entire script. So you will be creating a file format. This is what it's mandatory for it. Then we're going to have it a storage integration, and why this storage integration is required to make a handshake. So I have my this YouTube bucket, YouTube learning. Inside that YouTube learning bucket, I have created one source data, and there I have kept one CSV file. I'm sure you all must be aware of these steps, and that what I'm doing in this step 1, step 2, and then you need to describe it. You will be taking this ARN and the external ID, and we're going to update into the IAM trust relationship. Now, once you do that, then the next we're going to create an external stage. Okay, so by this is going to be, I guess we have already done it. So if you will look at into the show stages, I must be like a couple of stages. Okay, one I do have on Azure, one is on S3. So I'm going to utilize, or I'm going to refer my second stage, ext S3 stage. After that, if you want to know whether you were able to successfully make a connection or not, try to run this list command, which is going to showcase how many files you do have in this stage. If you're coming till this point, that means your proper handshake has been established. You made a connection with the AWS or Azure or GCS, whatever the cloud platform you're using. And now I will be creating a 3 tables. Thus, the first table will be the stage table, or I can say will be a raw data, where the whatever data is coming from this the CSV directly from the Cloud Lake, I will be ingesting in it. I'm taking column like employee ID, name, email, phone number, address, company name, and experience. Then the next, I'm creating an employee, which is going to be type 1. Okay, to be if you wanted to make it more meaningful, maybe you can like employee type 1, something like that. And then the next, I do have this dim employee, which is going to have which is going to hold my type 2 data and look at it. Along with these columns, I have 3 extra columns, which is start date, end date, and is active. So the start date, I mean, again, it depends. Like if your data is like something change very frequently and you wanted to capture the time information also, then you can change the data type to date time. I'm going to utilize only the date part, not the date time. So if you will look at the start date and end date here, that this means the default I'm storing is 2991231. And then I'm taking this is active, which is a Boolean flag. So let me just create these tables. Okay. Now all three tables got created. After that, I wanted to make it automated. So my part, I'm not going to do with all these merges manually because I cannot assign one resource from my team to just load the data from S3 manually and then going to run these merge commands, going to take care, going to track the changes, and then going to maintain a type 2. No, this cannot be done. So I will be utilizing the task to do all this stuff. Right from loading the data from AWS S3 to stage. But one more thing. What if I'm going to get the same file name and I'm going to use one task, then I have to use either force equal to true command or I need to truncate my stage table. Otherwise, if there is a new data or like some updated data in the same file name, the Snowflake will skip those records. That is the property of copy into command. I'm sure you must be aware of it. If not, you can watch part number 13 or 14th, I guess, where I've explained copy into table. So after that, I'm going to create multiple tasks and that will be the task series. So it will be a complete task graph where the first task is just going to truncate the stage table. Then I'm going to schedule at 1 minute so that we can showcase in this video. However, you will be probably scheduling after 1 hour, 5 hours, 6 hours, or in just a one day. That totally depends how you wanted to utilize that. So I'm going to create my first task, which is clean stage table. That is going to be scheduled after every 1 minute. Going to use a compute warehouse, and this is just truncating this stage table. And why it is doing it? Because if I'm going to upload the same file name with the changes, then there won't be any error. Then there won't be any record will be skipped. Now, I will be creating a child task and that should load it immediately after this. So when I said after this, that means I am going to create one child task and which will be dependent on this clean stage table task dependency. So if it is successfully executed, then the next task where I will be copying my data into the stage table from this exts3 stage. And I have added rather than schedule, I use this after clean stage table. That means if like this task will only and only be loaded after this task. Okay, so the second task is also created. In the next task, what I'm gonna do is, so my data come into my stage table, but after the stage table, I want to insert the same data into my type 1 table, or we can say probably this is going to be my the final layer or silver layer. Probably you can say that, okay, this is my employee table, which anyone who wanted to refer the type 1 data can use it. So in that case, what I'm going to do is, because that will be absurd. So for absurd, I will be using a merge command. And in that merge, I will be merging the data into my target table, which is going to be my type 1 table, employee type 1, and look at it. So this one is fine. What we are doing, this is load stage data. That means this is child task 2, which is depend on load stage data. So this is the father, this is son, this is the grandson. Okay, now we are doing a merge into employee. I'm sure you must be familiar of this merge command where I'm writing into the target table and there I'm using the stage table, select star from stage table. In fact, you can do like using stage employee only. You can remove that select part. I'm doing this aliasing so that you can join it and make sure you do have a key columns to combine it. There I'm combining it based on the name and the employee ID. Okay, but again, this cannot be true in all the cases. Here I'm assuming that this name and the employee ID will make a unique combination. Now, some of you may comment it or may ask that, hey, this in this slowly changing dimensions, this employee ID cannot work because we will be having multiple records. Yes, so we will be generating a surrogate key. Here I'm just like assuming that this employee ID and employee name combination is going to make my my record as a unique. So that's why I'm keeping it. Otherwise, you can generate some SHA key or using MDF5. Like you can generate a surrogate key. So now I'm saying if both the name and the employee ID is matching, and then if any of this information is not matching, email, phone number, or address, and that again is my assumption that I am gonna check all of these columns. However, you can take any of this. Either you can take address or you can take email or phone number. Okay, but this is my type 1. So any of this phone number, email, or address is going to be changed. Then I am going to do update employee email, means target ka email will be source ka email, and phone number will be updated with the source table. That means it will be updated with the newer data and no historical information will be there. And now, if these are not matching, that means the record is the new, so it is going to be insert into that employee table. Okay, so this is also my task 2, which is like SCD1 load has been created. Now, till this part, let's just take a look that if I'm going to load my file, okay, so before that, okay, all right, so let's look into the select star from stays employee. That do we have any record? Zero record, obviously. Select star from employee, that again has zero record. So why does it happen? We have created a task with 1 minute and then again this still not loaded. Why? You look into the show task, because whenever you create task by yourself at the first time, it is gonna be into the suspended mode. So you have to run a resume one. So first thing, you will be doing a child most resume. Otherwise, your task graph won't be updated. That also we have discussed into the task and the task tree videos. So you will be doing a child, then parent, and then grandparent. Okay, now if you will look at the show task, then except this one, because this I have created during the practice, during the dry run, so only this is suspended, but that is fine because this will be required for type 2. Just focus on the 1 3 4 line, those have been started. Now as a next step, whether these task has been successfully executed or not, how can we check it? We will be looking into the task history. And you cannot simply go into this query and task history because that may take some time as it refer the account users. So you will be simply running this query select star from table information schema dot task history. When you're going to run it, you will be looking at it and this is going to show you the time, whether it got successfully executed or not. So these query ID into the null, that means this is still into the scheduled phase. And how can we check it? You just need to scroll to the right and look at the state as scheduled. So if you have this in the schedules, then this will be scheduled. Otherwise, it will be succeeded or the failed. So you will be getting couple of status like state as failed, scheduled, or succeeded. Let's look at one more time because I believe 1 minute is over. And if I come here, this clean states table, look at this one. Okay. So if you're going to look into this clean states table, this is succeeded. Now, everything has been succeeded. So let me look into the data into the select star from stays employee. I can see there are 97 record, and into the select star from employee, which is type 1, there also I do have 97 record. That means it's successfully fine. So I do have all the data. But now let me create another task, okay? And that task, what it is gonna do, but before that, actually, let me show you one more thing. What if I'm going to upload any information from here, or I'm going to like add new record, then how it is going to be affected? Okay, so we will be seeing it. Let me do one thing. Rather than this Noida, India, in front of this Vishal, I'm going to do Hyderabad. Okay, and this Megan Fox in place of Noida, let me do it. That's a Bangalore. All right, so I'm going to save it, and I'll come here. I'll upload it. I'm going to upload a new data. So that has been an employee sample data, and upload. Now we will wait. So we have seen it into my table that this Vishal should be Hyderabad and this Megan should be Bangalore. I haven't inserted one record, but that we will be looking into the type 2 maybe. Okay, I should have shown you that, okay, if I'm going to insert a new record, that should behave like upset also. But let's just wait for it. Select star from employee. I should have 97 record, but this Vishal in place of New Delhi, it should be Hyderabad, and Megan Fox in place of Noida, it should be Bangalore. However, you could have changed any of this like phone number or email. Why? Because if you will look into the merge query here, there we have checked it, set employee, phone number and address. So if any of these values is not matching, then you have run this update command. So that is going to be replaced the new value with the older, sorry, the older value will be updated by this new or the source value here. So let's wait for, I guess this 1 minute is over. Let me run this select star from employee, and you see here, this Vishal is now Hyderabad and Megan Fox is now Bangalore, which is completely fine. So till this point, it is fine. Now let me just suspend the main task. Why? Because I wanted to create a type 2. Till this point, I am fine that this is going to take my type 1. Now in the type 2, I have created 3 extra column: start date, end date and eject date. So how this will be populated? For that, you will be creating a stream on top of your type 1 table. So what gonna happen? Just like the Vishal's address replaced from Noida or from Delhi to Hyderabad, the stream is going to have the record. Stream is going to capture the changes, and based on that changes, it is gonna consume, and we gonna make some condition. If the stream has data and the condition is matched, or the condition is deleted, metadata action or update, then these action needs to be performed. Now this is my final task, which is dim employee load. But before that, you will be creating a stream on employee table. Okay, right now there should not be any record because we just created. After the creation of the stream, there is no change on this table, but in the background, when we will be updating this file one more time, then yes, there will be some changes. So focus on this part. We have created a final task, which is create or replace task, dim task load. It's going to be the warehouse. However, you can comment it. If you're going to comment it, this will be a serverless task. Okay. And then we have after this data, and in the task, you must be aware that we can add condition, like it's kind of a trigger based task, that if your stream has data, in which stream, the stream which you have created in the above step stremp. If this has data, then it is going to merge into your dim employee based on this str employee, means it is going to check the data from this address. It's going to check from this stremp, and it is going to check emp eid, check eid and employee address. When matched, then this action delete, and when updated, this current date and is active equal to false. So look at it. If this is matching and the metadata action is delete, then this end date will be the current date is active equal to false. And if it is not matching and action is insert, then it will be also inserting all the values. So let's look at this thing. What I'm going to do is I am going to showcase, I'm actually going to create all these tables one more time. So this stays table, we are fine because it will be automatically loaded. I'm going to create this employee table one time and this employee one time. Okay. Now I have this final task also ready. And here, what I'm going to do is I will be creating resume. So all my 4 tasks, I am resuming first from the child, child ka parent, parent ka parent, and final the grandparent. If you will look at select star from dim employee, there is no data. Right now, look at it. These are the three flags or three extra column which we do have in my SCD type 2, which I'm calling a dim employee. So look at into the select star from information task history. Earlier there was three task, but now we should have 4 tasks into my schedule status. Okay, we can see that this is the MPSCD1 load, whether it is succeeded. Yes, so they must be coming. Okay, we can wait it. We can check probably the show task, and all the tasks should be into the schedule phase. Yes, these are in the started phase. This is the condition, this is the definition. This predictions means that these are the parent tasks. The schedules, if you are seeing a schedule not showing any null, that means that is the most parent task. Here, this is how you can look into the data. Okay, now look into the select star, look into the select star from information schema task history. Let's look at it. This dim employee, this got null. However, all these 3 have been loaded. So that means it got failed. Look at it. This one, last SCD type 2 got failed because this base tape YouTube learning employee dropped and cannot read from stream str employee. That was expected. Okay, why? Because I have created a stream after it got created. So here I am gonna create this stream one more time and let's look at now. I have created a stream now. So actually after this stream, I have deleted that that table, or sorry, truncated that, recreated that table. That's why it got dropped. So let's look into this. So we should have the data. So that's how you can check it, what kind of error you are getting. Right now there is no record. Select start from information schema task history. This time we can see this dim employee that got failed. Yes. And this one got succeeded. So merge into dim employee got succeeded. And now if I'm going to look into select start from dim employee, there is no data. Why? Because once it got loaded in this stream, there was no data. In this stream, there was no data. So what I can do, let me just to showcase it to you. What I'm gonna do is truncate table employee. I'm truncating this. Yes, it got truncated. Let me show you now. Okay, we can wait. Let's just wait for another couple of minutes till the time it's gonna insert. And in the meantime, I am going to add few more records to insert and to showcase some records. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to insert one record here itself, and that we can probably call 1001 or 1011. The name I can keep it as like S400, or maybe like, let's say, anything. Modi at the rate mail.com. Phone number, we can say anything. Address is Gujarat, India. Company name is India. And experience is 22 years something. So this is one new record I have inserted, and this Vishal, this is not in Hyderabad now. He should be in, let's say, where? Maldives. Let's okay, but let's look at the data into my dim employee now. So if you will look into the dim employee, I do have the data right now, 97. All the, like, I'm not concerned about this data anymore. I just wanted to look into these three columns. So start date, end date, and is active. Because there is not, we did not make any changes in the record. That's why this is active is coming as true. Now, London, UK, this record has been updated, and this one should be Seattle, US. I'm updating the address also. So these two record address got updated, which I have declared as a SCD type 2. That means I should have two more records. Right now there is 99 record, or 98 record, or 99. Yeah. Okay, yeah, 99 means 98 active records we do have here. So here, if I have updated this Megan and Vishal, so two entries should be for Megan, two should be Vishal, and one should be for Modi. So can we have it? Now, to do it, I'm going to upload this one more time, and we'll be checking it once my pipeline will successfully get executed. So I'm going to do the same thing again, add files, and I am going to upload it. Okay, so this is done. Sorry, there is some background noise. I'm sorry for that. Now I'll go over here. All the task is already into my active mode. So it's 1621. So let me just check the data into this stage employee. It is having 98 records. That means this Modi's entry is also there. Now, in my final table, in my dimension dim employee means SCD type 2 table, I should have extra record. I can see these are 100 records. Just focus on these two things. Okay, this Modi got inserted. This one last is active. But if you will look at this Vishal Kaushal, this London UK was the latest address. And if you will look at on here, this one is true. However, this Vishal, earlier it was in Hyderabad and is active equal to false. For us, the start date and end date is same because we just did everything today. However, you can make it maybe something like you can be specific about the time also. Probably this is very rarely case where you will be seeing the start date and end date is going to be same. So data wise, you may like again challenge me that okay, Vishal, this cannot be happen. I also agree that this cannot be happen. But all I was trying to show you that how you're gonna implement the type 2 using the stream and the task. So this got new record got inserted. These two record were updated, and you can see that it is having the updated information. So here this is London and Seattle should be the active record, and yes, these are the true means these are the active records, and these are the false, that means it is not is active record. These are the historical information. So that's how you can implement SCD Type 2, and I'm sure you must have understood. And please replicate this exercise. I will be posting this entire script into my description box. Utilize this. We'll be sharing this data over the Git. So I'm gonna, or you can probably replicate the same data by yourself so that you can utilize all the table scripts. And if you have any questions, feel free to add into the comment box. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.